Now, a place where we might disagree and not say that the thing is cheating like we do with gerrymandering is on this voter suppression thing. Now, Diego Morales, as we know, has been cooperating with the Trump administration and their crackdown on what they say is massive voter fraud, right? So, in earlier last year, Morales shared the voter rolls for the whole state with the Department of Justice. Well, now it turns out the Department of Justice is turning over these state voter rolls to the Department of Homeland Security in a search for non-citizens. This data sharing comes after the DOJ this summer demanded that election officials in nearly 24 states turn over their voter lists, alarming some Democratic state secretaries of state and election experts. Even some Republican secretaries of state have declined to provide their full voter lists. Not our boy Diego. Again, he said his office has provided the personal information of the state's registered voters, nearly 5 million Hoosiers, to the Department of Justice. And Morales said he's complying with a letter from the Trump administration sent in recent weeks. Now, while the administration didn't describe how Homeland Security will use the voter rolls to search for non-citizens, the agency operates a powerful program called SAVE, Systematic Alien Verification for Entitlements, that can identify the immigration or citizenship status of an individual. SAVE was originally intended to help state and local officials verify the immigration status of individual non-citizens seeking government benefits, but U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, which is part of DHS, this spring refashioned it into a platform that can scan states' voter rolls if officials upload the data. So, listen, what's the payoff for all this, right? They're looking for voter fraud, right? Well, I'll tell you what, Diego says he's got some. You see this, Kurt? This week, this is from WFYI, public media in Indianapolis. Secretary of State Diego Morales says that system that flagged 1,600 people who need to provide the citizen proof, okay, that they turned in. Counties are responsible for canceling people's voter registration if they don't respond to the notice within 30 days. That could mean U.S. citizens with valid voter registration could have their registration canceled. But Morales said Vigo County, that's Terre Haute, found one man who submitted a Mexican passport as his proof of citizenship and allegedly confirmed to local officials that he is not a U.S. citizen. So, Kurt, the system works, right?
The system does work. Our system does work. And this voter fraud thing is just, it's a lie. It's a flat out lie. But this has been the narrative that has come from the dude in the White House ever since 2012, when he first started tweeting about the elections at that time, when Mitt Romney was running against Barack Obama. And he was tweeting that there were trucks pulled up to warehouses in Detroit unloading ballots. Does that sound familiar to anyone? I mean, he's using the same mantra over and over and over and over again. There has been 2 bills that have been presented on the national level that would have, stopped so much of the cheating that has occurred that has been blocked by Republicans when it came to like gerrymandering and forcing a vote or swaying a vote in a state's direction towards one party or the other, but they haven't done that. Now we have the SAVE Act that they're trying to pass that's going to strip away the rights to women from voting, that they will have to prove that the name that's on their birth certificate is the same name that they have on their driver's license and passports and whatever. So if you're married and you take a man's name, and that's the name you have on your ID, you won't be able to vote. It's been proven by research and data collected by the Brennan Center and other organizations that there is no voter fraud that takes place. It is a minuscule amount that actually happens. undocumented immigrants
One
are not
case.
allowed to
Yes.
vote. Okay. I mean, it's crazy. It's absolutely nuts. But this is a narrative. This is how you create an issue like this. You just repeat the same thing, and that's what happens. We say fake news. They're cheating. Voter fraud. Immigrants are bad. Blah blah blah. And people eventually start to believe all of it, even though there's zero proof of it at all. Okay.
And we know the way these things work, right? These narratives about voter fraud are perpetuated to just to make voting harder, to add hoops, basically for people to jump through. And it turns out the people that have to have a hard time jumping through hoops are the folks that usually vote for Democrats.
And it's being done by Republicans because they know the numbers are with the Democrats. And if Democrats simply would show up and vote, we would win. And that's why it's being done. There is not voter fraud. In fact, most of the voter fraud that took place in the 2020 election was committed by Republicans, by fake electors, by making a phone call asking for votes. I mean,
well, that and also just the small number of cases of like actual like voter fraud. It's like
right.
Somebody who has a house in Michigan and a house in Florida and they voted both. That's not something that like your average American can do, because most of us have a hard enough time affording one place
One
to live.
house.